You're reading some from Milton, a little bit more, and I'm looking at this one part here, and I got some ideas, so I wanted to share them. And so let's see here. But I'm just going to start from this place where I have it marked. But if much converse, perhaps, so the relationship here between much and perhaps is not one of it's one of paying attention to the muchness of conversing. Perhaps these satiate, and they satiate, and perhaps is the effect perhaps coming up before maybe this will happen. Satiate, satisfaction, satiate. To short absence, I could yield. To short and satiate. So after satiate is the cause of the short absence, or to short absence. So I could yield to short absence, which means if I'm satisfied, then it's okay that you're absent for a short while. I can permit that. For solitude, sometimes is best society. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good line. For solitude, sometimes. So short and sometimes go together, because short is the length of the absence, and sometimes is not all times. But in this case, it's a short sometimes, a short time. And short, like I said, sometimes is the same as short here. And short retirement urges sweet return, urges and short. Urges is the action that having a short retirement, the shortness, it makes you come back in a sweet way. But other doubt possesses me. So going back, urges sweet return, but other is contrasted because the other doubt being still, though you're gone, I have another doubt. Or as we're considering separating and having our solitude, and though you're urged to that sweet return after the short retirement, there's still another doubt, an other doubt possesses me, lest harm befall thee, severed from thee. So doubt and other, it's going to be the other, his other, Eve, separated from him, which is severed from me. So the relationship between severed and other is one of I guess it'd be something like, because you're other than me, you're separate from me. That's the difference between Adam and Eve, woman and man. But in this case, it's kind of a play on him being different from his wife, and then they leave each other apart, being severed, and each other is the recognition of that otherness, which Adam has for Eve. So he's recognizing that he's playing against this otherness, while Eve doesn't have that doubt just yet. For thou knowest, and knowest goes with severed. For thou knowest what has been warned us. Warned came at the same time as thou knowest. So knowest and warnings, the warning, are pretty much the same in this context. Warning is more of a specific type of knowing. What malicious foe, envying our happiness. So happiness and warning. Warning is the warning to protect that happiness, and of his own despairing. Own is a possession of a despairing, which the own being possessed by that despairing is the actually opposite of being happy. Seeks to work us woe and shame by sly assault. Seeks to work us woe and shame by sly assault. So sly and own, this character being sly, and this character possessing despairing, the own despair, his own despairing. Own goes with sly too, by his own sly assault. So sly and despairing are similar, but it's because those are his characteristics, the slyness that he has. And somewhere nigh at hand. So near and sly go together because things that are near but kind of hidden are in a sly way. In some sense, if one character is trying to assault the other but in a sly way, in a secretive way, so that's near, that it can't happen from afar, so that's why it's nigh, that's why it's near, at hand, watches no doubt with greedy hope to find his wish and best advantage, us asunder hopeless. So hopeless and nigh, because this character is near at hand, they have a hopelessness a little bit to circumvent us. Well, he has a hopelessness, the character has a hopelessness as they're together, but when they're going to be separated, that hope will come back. So that's part of the reason why the purpose of being nigh is playing against that hopelessness, because being hopeful, this character hopes that they separate. To circumvent us join. So circumvent is hopeless to circumvent. Hopelessness is the feeling one gets because the circumvention, the strategy that this character wants to get them separated hasn't worked yet, so that hopelessness is the effect. Where each to other speedy aid, so each goes with circumvent, because circumvent is the strategy to each of these people that this character wants to employ. So where each to other speedy aid might lend at need. Aid goes with each because it's each of these characters, Adam and Eve, are dependent on the aid of each other. So each and aid are important in that way, and they connect. Whether his first design to be withdraw our fealty from God. So first and aid, I like that because first aid, usually you hear first aid in medical terms, but it's kind of like the importance of aid. Both of those are crucial when emergency happens, to aid to relieve the emergency, and firstness is another strategy for that aid to be there on the spot when there has to be relief from whatever the emergency caused. It's crucial. Whether his first design be to withdraw, except for the fact that, though first usually goes with aid in that kind of sense, whether his first design be to withdraw our fealty from God. So the aid is actually the opposite from first in this sense, in some strange way, because it's kind of like what they're protecting against. They need the aid against the first design, which the character has to withdraw our fealty from God, or to disturb conjugal love, than which perhaps no bliss. The bliss goes with the first in some sense, because in a roundabout way, the first design is trying to get a hold of that bliss, and make it into no bliss enjoyed by us, excites his envy more. So excites and bliss go together perfectly. Or this, or worse, leave not the faithful side. So leave and faithful are technically definitions of opposites of each other. So if you leave, you're not being faithful in a sense, but if you're faithful, you'll stay and you won't leave. So the faithful side that gave thee being still shades thee. Still and faithful go together, and still and leave are opposites. And protects, so protects is still, that's kind of a reason for staying faithful or being still having this constancy of remaining. The after effect is that they get the protection of each other by remaining with each other. The wife, so the wife is protected by the husband, and the husband protected by the wife from this character. Where danger or dishonor lurks, danger is not the wife. That's not the opposite of wife either, if the opposite of wife is a husband, but some other kind of opposite, because danger is what they're trying not to have happen, and that's what they're warned against. Or dishonor lurks. Safest is actually pretty much the complete opposite of danger, and seamless by her husband stays, who guards her and guards, and safest. Guards is what causes one to be safe in some sense, but in this sense, this kind of guards makes for the safest sense. Her or with her the worst endure. So worst and guards. Guards is against the worst, and for the safest.